Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Long day here. Thankfully, we have a couple consultations coming up. This will be the first one. I do not have the second one ready. Got the email yesterday. I need to work on it. But this comes from a friend that I have met through the pageantry scene. So this is a beautiful young woman who wants to cut weight for an upcoming competition. So this is going to be advice tailored to that. First thing I got asked was trying to lose a little bit of excess fat around the triceps and upper back sort of lat area. The other one, and I'll demonstrate with workouts a little bit later, what we can work with around that. So I asked a few other questions, tried to get a little bit more information, really want to get a good tailored diet plan. So I deal in numbers. Just saying, hey, can I reduce, fat in this location? First off, let's get one thing out of the way right off the get-go. Spot reduction is bullshit. That's not how the human body works. There are things you can do to make it look like you have less fat in different places. Those usually involve building muscle. We'll get to that. But the idea that you can reduce fat specifically from a given chunk of your body just by dieting is absolute horse crap. It doesn't work like that. So let's take that idea and throw it in the garbage where it belongs. Second off, we deal in numbers here, okay? This is why my programs are successful. I need to know what weight you're at, what weight you're getting to. Now, I get that that's a sensitive topic for a lot of people, especially women. So for this stage, all I'm going to say is the amount of pounds you want to lose. It's a good chunk. I'm not going to state it on air, but anybody who can do the math for the diet plan as I'm going to lay it out to you can eventually figure out what it actually is. For your height, I think your target number is actually a pretty good one. I would recommend maybe adding 10 to 20 pounds if you start hitting the gym, which I think you should, especially given the parts you've been talking about. However, oh, brother, the time frame in which you have asked me to help get you to the point you want to get to is not only medically unsafe, but damn near thermodynamically impossible. You are asking me to help you lose enough, a large enough amount of weight between now and your competition, which is in early August. That's about 60 days, give or take, 63 days, I believe. You're asking me to lose what I would consider to be a damn near medically impossible amount of weight. Unless you want to spend 3 to 4 hours a day on a treadmill and eat basically nothing, the number you have that you want to get down to from your current weight is, again, medically unsafe by a long shot and damn near thermodynamically impossible. I did the math just out of curiosity, and you would have to run a calorie deficit of nearly 3,700 calories per day just to get from now to your target. And don't do that, for the love of all that is holy. Don't even attempt to do that. That's such a bad idea. Unless you feel like recreating the experiences of late 1970s Cambodia, you're not going to lose weight that quickly. Don't attempt to recreate the experiences of late 1970s Cambodia. However, I do think that your long-term goal, if you can start on your journey to that, I think somewhere in 2026 you could get to that number. Yeah, that sucks, doesn't it? Wow, it'd take me north of 7 months to lose that weight. Yes, but if you do it the way I tell you to do it, it'll stay off, is the big difference. All those biggest loser, that's common knowledge. The biggest loser contestants always regain the weight they yo-yo. It's because the human body gets used to a certain amount of weight and it doesn't like changing it that much that quickly. So first thing we got to do is come to that reality. 3,500 calories is roughly the number of calories you must eat in deficit to burn about 1 pound of body fat. So, okay, for most people, for someone about your size and about your age, more than 2 pounds a week, which is a 7,000 calorie deficit, which is about 1,000 calories a day, you will find that's quite a large deficit to run already. That's not really going to happen. So it's 2 pounds a week. I like going with 6 weeks and then a break. We'll start there. So for your size, I recommend, I guess we need to talk a few more things. A few more philosophical questions before we go first. I asked, are you willing to put in work in the gym to turbocharge your results? You said yes. Fucking love to hear it. The fifth thing, and probably the most important thing, is are you willing to accept responsibility for the way you look now, and take responsibility for the actions you will make in the future to determine what you will look like in the future? You also said yes. I love that. Taking responsibility and control of one's life, having agency, and not blaming society or your parents or whoever for the circumstances you find yourself in is a huge, huge mental shift that many people don't ever make in their entire lives. So the fact that you do already puts you ahead. Congratulations. What I want you to do first is go to the mirror, look yourself dead between the eyes and say, I am responsible for the decisions I have made that result in my body looking the way it does now. I am responsible for taking control of the decisions I am making and will make to determine what my body looks like in the future. Say that, say it with conviction, and say it to yourself in the mirror. Say it to yourself every day if you need to, but without taking control, without taking ownership of the decisions you choose to make, you're twisting in the wind. I don't think you have that problem. Based on what you have told me, it doesn't sound like that will be a major concern. So that's the good news. So again, the fact you're willing to hit the gym is wonderful too. One other thing I want to talk about, since this is for a beauty pageant. I have stated many times on my program that healthy at any size is absolute and utter horse crap. It is. You cannot be healthy at any size. However, you very much can be beautiful at any size. Those two things are different. Beauty can take the form of a bodybuilder who has dehydrated themselves to the point of near medical problems at 2 to 3% body fat. Someone winning a bodybuilding competition may be as unhealthy as an obese person. The amount of dehydration and often chemicals that people take to look the way they do in a lot of bodybuilding competitions, it wreaks massive amounts of damage on your kidneys. In the same way that obesity racks massive amounts of damage on your coronary system, your liver, your pancreas, and honestly a whole lot of other organs, including your brain. So, right, you can be beautiful at any size. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Now, you can't demand society accepts you as beautiful. You can demand society treats you as an equal within reason. But you can, if you view that you are beautiful today, that's totally up to you. So beauty can occur at any size, but frankly, what I think is beautiful is very different from what other people think are beautiful. So it's going to depend on the eye of the beholder, but you cannot be healthy at any size. That is incorrect. That is fundamentally wrong. You cannot be, for instance, a chain smoker very likely is not going to be beautiful. No matter what their size is, okay, as an example. Good, got it, excellent. Okay, so moving on from that. Let's see here. Oh, so there's also a couple other areas you wanted to focus on: the hip area and the stomach. Everybody wants the abs, huh? Yep. Don't you want them? Everybody wants them. Absolutely. This person wants to lose a large amount of weight in about 8 weeks. And I'm trying to tell this person relatively civilly that is a delusion. It's not going to happen. But I think you could stand to lose in 2 weeks, and between now and your competition in August, if you were disciplined, you could lose probably about 15 pounds of body fat, but you're also going to lose water weight, so you could maybe be looking around, let yourself dehydrate a bit before a runway shoot or a competition, because you're going to want to do that anyway. That might drop you 20 to 25 pounds, which is a good chunk of, that is a good chunk of weight. It's a large chunk of what you want to lose. But the amount you have selected, that's not possible. Or at least it's extraordinarily unsafe. Don't do that. So, all right. Now that we've gotten the basics and the philosophy out of the way, yeah, you want to you've got it says, okay, I didn't see this. You said August is the goal date, but we'll push further past time. Excellent. Okay, that's good. You understand then that August is not happening, not for your show. You'll be on the right track though. You will be making a lot of progress by the time the show comes around if you do what I tell you to do. So let's get into the diet, and then we'll look at working out. So for first thing, this is spot reducing. I already talked about that. All right, so what you can do first is we're going to talk about losing weight. Losing weight is calories in, calories out. Losing weight, again, we'll talk about what kinds of weight in a moment. Losing weight is calories in, calories out. It is not a biology problem, it is a thermodynamics problem. You must expend more energy than you consume. If you consume more energy, your body stores it as fat. Or if you have lots of muscle, your body will use it to repair and, build more. One of the other benefits of going to the gym is that the amount of calories your body will naturally burn goes up dramatically. Muscles are sexy, no matter who you are. They're also very useful. For instance, I squatted 315 for 5 sets today, and the 5th set was 16 reps. I had several more left in the tank. A little bit angry at myself that I didn't go for 20, but that's a different discussion. So losing weight is calories in, calories out. Losing fat is a function of what foods you eat and also to a lesser extent exercise. Why? Well, your body will start by burning glucose, right? If you've eaten, let's say you ate a Spam musubi, right? The first thing it's going to do to burn fuel is burn the rice in the Spam musubi, right? The glucose. Now, if you don't use, let's just say you have one, the rice will get metabolized first into glucose, and the glucose will provide a small insulin spike, and you will have more energy. And then, squat 400 for reps, I might add. 405 for 5 is my PR on that front. But and then your body will turn to glycogen. Glycogen is stored glucose that your liver has. The glycogen will store, it'll keep going until your body runs out of that. At that point, your body begins to burn fat, which in this case would come from part of the Spam in the Spam musubi. If it runs out of fat, eventually it will get to the point where it burns protein. Your body does not generally like to burn protein for fuel, but it will if it has no other options available. So, what you want to do though is ideally your goal is to lose fat and put on, or at least maintain, the muscle you have. I would strongly recommend putting on muscle because, again, muscles look good on girls. You ever seen a girl with a real nice curvy booty? Like, I hate to use Kim Kardashian as an example because it's all celebrity trash, but a lot of women that have the desirable figure spend a fair amount of time actually hitting weights in the gym. Go look at some professional female bodybuilders. Ignore the competition posts where they're dehydrated to shit and back, but take a look at the way their hips look and the way their legs look. The reason they look like that is because they do serious work on the squat rack and serious work on the deadlift platform. Don't shy away from hard work in the gym. So, what you need is you are going to need enough calories to sustain yourself and even build a little muscle. Not too many to where you're putting on a caloric surplus and gaining fat, and enough protein to where your body can repair the muscle tissue it is using and working out in the gym. But in enough of a calorie deficit to where you lose the fat at a rate you find acceptable. So what number is that for you? I'm not going to say your weight, again, I'm trying to be very polite about that, but again, you can reverse engineer it. It is possible to reverse engineer a rough idea of what it is based on the calorie total I'm giving you. That's just kind of how this is. So what I'm going to recommend is to start keep it real simple. You can eat whatever you want as long as it has no more than 1,750 calories, no less than 150 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein. Yes, you're going to be hitting the gym now. And when you hit the gym, you're going to be building muscle. What's nice is you probably are going to be in the noob gains phase, which means you should be able to put on muscle mass very quickly. Putting on muscle mass very quickly will rapidly burn fat a lot faster. It will, I will tell you, it will also make you hungrier. You're going to be dealing with a lot of hunger. So 1750 calories, 150 grams of protein. So one other asterisk that goes with this. I'm a huge fan of if it fits your macros, but do it within reason, right? Make sure to get some generally green and leafy things in your diet, because otherwise you're not going to have enough fiber and then you're going to be spending way too much time on the toilet. That's not fun. Don't do that. Have enough produce in your diet to where you get all of your vitamins and minerals. As long as you do that and then you hit both of these, you can have whatever the fuck you want. The proof of this is something called the Twinkie diet. There is a man who proved that you can lose weight eating nothing but Twinkies, provided you eat few enough of them. That's the idea here. Being bulky up top will tone that out a little, way to reduce it. We'll get there. So for women, fat loss starts around the extremities, and then it works its way to the hips finally. For men, it's the same thing. The last thing we lose is our abs. So for men, losing fat starts at the extremities, kind of works our way into the core. For women, it's the same, it's just a little bit lower. So for women, it's going to be, you will notice triceps and lat, you're going to lose fat faster there than hips and abs. However, building muscle there will make it look like you have less fat there. And that's why we're going to hit the gym. So what I'm going to say is, no, not 750 calories. That would be irresponsibly low. 1,750 calories. Sorry, I must have accidentally erased that. 1,750 calories and 150 grams of protein. This should be good for the first, I normally like to tell people to do cuts in 6 weeks, but since you've got a competition in 8, what I'm going to tell you is do this until the final week of August. And then for your competition, because pageantry requires a lot of brain power, requires a lot of being able to deal with stress and random bullshit that comes up, give yourself 2,000 to 2,200 calories for the week of the pageant. Call that a maintenance break. Then go right back to 1,750. Okay? Do that, and then after that, do 1,750 for about 6 weeks, and then reevaluate at that point for maintenance break. You can come back to me and ask. You know, if you're, what you will find is that if your weight begins to plateau, and yes, you will be tracking your weight, we'll get to that. As long as once it begins, if you notice it begins to plateau, lower the calorie total to 1,700 or 1,650. This girl's got determination. I'm ready. Love to hear it. I love to hear that. Absolutely. So this is where I would start. Very simple. So what does a good way of doing this look like? You can use your phone. I am very old school, and I think there are a lot of reasons you should consider pencil and paper. You may have seen at the competition me doing this for everything. That goes in my mouth, and it's going to be the same thing for the foreseeable future. The reason I recommend pencil and paper is very simple. It forces you over time. Eventually, you're going to start memorizing things you eat with frequency, and you'll know exactly how many calories and exactly how many grams of protein it has in a way that you just won't memorize if you tap it into your phone. The second reason is because you are going to be doing workouts and you are going to be writing your workouts down. Again, you can do this on your phone, but how often is it? Be honest with yourself, because this happens to me. How often is it you're doing something on your phone that's important in the gym, and you get a distraction, and all of a sudden you've been waiting 8 minutes to do your next set? You don't want to do that as much as you can avoid it. So journaling is my forte when it comes to taking keynotes. Perfect. Then calorie tracking and workout tracking should come secondhand to you. Bring a pencil and paper to the gym. This is mine. Good old government issue. I have customized it a bit. Thanks Zap for these stickers. Reduce consumption ahead and a blue and white monochrome version of the Hawaii state flag, which I do have, but because I am moving out in a couple of days, is not presently hung up. Don't worry. The flag of the greatest state in the Union is right here. Yes, I do believe it's the best. It's 84 degrees and sunny outside. Fight me. Also, fun, happy fact for a change, we finally did not place last in housing affordability in one survey, which is the first time I think we can say that in this state in a long, long time. Use my notebook for calorie count. It works. Yeah, Big Red, you've been making terrific progress recently. Absolutely stoked to see the way you've come along on that. See, that's the best part. It's not really heat. The number of days, it is the number of days below 80 degrees here and the number of days above 90 degrees here in terms of highs is almost exactly the same. Next to none. The high is consistently right around 85, give or take a small range, and the lows are typically around 77, give or take a small range. When we get temperatures in the 60s here, all the locals start busting out the sweatshirts. It's hilarious. Anywho, so there you go. There's your modeling cut. I would say start it with 8 weeks, and then, because that's when competition is, give yourself a 1 week reprieve. Don't go nuts. Don't start, eating tons of junk food. But give yourself a few more calories for the competition. This is what I did at my most recent competition at Mr. Supranational, and it definitely allowed me to roll with the punches and be less cranky than a lot of the other models who were starving themselves, and you could tell because a lot of them were very bitchy a lot of the week, but that's a different conversation that we're not going to have right now. Anyway, so workout plan. For you, you seem to have, you're probably pretty new to the gym. If you aren't, you can probably modify this. Seeing that you want to work hips, abs, back of your arms, and lats, I'm going to kind of give you a pretty basic all-rounder because the same exercises that work lats don't work your triceps. The same exercises that work lats or triceps don't work hips and abs. Does Hawaii have bourbon distilleries? Actually, as a matter of fact, there is one in this state. I don't drink anymore, so it's an irrelevant question, but we do have one. Not to mention we've got plenty rum because you can grow sugar here, which you can't in any other U.S. state, except for Florida. Although Florida, they like a very different kind of sugar. Anyway. So workout plans, I'm going to give you a basic 4-day upper-lower. This is my sort of default that I offer for a lot of people, but I'm going to tweak it a touch to fit your needs. So I assume 4 days a week shouldn't be too much. These workouts should take roughly about an hour, but you got to push yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to have upper heavy, upper tempo, lower heavy, and lower tempo. All right? Upper heavy, upper tempo, lower heavy, lower tempo. You can do these in any order you'd like. I'd recommend going upper, lower, upper, lower. Let's start with the upper bodies. So, your upper body workouts are going to consist of 27 sets, okay? 3 sets for every workout you do will be something ab related. You can pick which abs you like. Pick the ab machine. Pick maybe doing some 6 inches, maybe doing a plank, maybe doing cable crunches. I'm a huge fan of cable crunches. Those are really good for your abs. Consider incline sit-ups, maybe dumbbell sit-ups, decline sit-ups, leg raises, hanging leg raises, loads and loads of different ab varieties, and I've actually made a video on that. So just pick one, do 3 sets, anywhere between 6 to 15 reps per set. If you get to the point where you can do 15 reps easily, increase the weight. All right, so we're gonna start 6 for upper body. You're gonna work 6 main body parts. And for this, it actually will behoove me to take my shirt off. The reason being it can show the muscle groups better. First one is your traps, your trapezius muscles. Now, you're not trying to build speed bump traps, so I'm not gonna have you do a ton of work on these, but you should still work them just enough to where you get a little bit of them. I'm gonna have you pair your traps with your rear delts. That's these muscles at the top of your back, okay? Traps and rear delts for you aren't as critical, so we're not gonna spend that much time on them, but you still need to do them a little bit, okay? Next one is your biceps. Biceps, again, not your biggest, most important muscle, so we're not gonna spend that much time on it. The other ones that you're not gonna spend as much time on, because again, it's what you said, you're not as focused on for making look skinnier, are gonna be your pecs, because again, same thing. Though that being said, women, you should absolutely work your pec muscles. They will support your breasts, especially as time goes on, which makes it usually can reduce a lot of neck problems women have later in life. So definitely don't skimp on the bench press. Anyway, the ones you said you wanted to work on more are your triceps, which is the back of your arms, and your lats, which are these guys right here and right here. These guys. So how are we going to do that? This is how we're going to do that. I'm going to tell you, you can do the same work, you can do the same exercise, or you can do a different exercise on either your heavy or your tempo days. The difference is going to be very simple. Your heavy days are going to be looking at the 6 to 8 rep range, okay? So heavy, we'll say 6 to 10, but try to err closer to 6 and go for heavier weight. And then tempo, 12 to 20 reps. So probably looking at 15 reps per set. The idea here is that your tempo sets will probably take you a little bit longer to get through and you'll have less time to recover. You should probably be able to get through your tempo workouts a little bit faster than your heavy workouts. Your heavy workouts will take you a little bit more time to recover because you're putting a lot more exertion to move heavier weight the same amount of distance. Okay? So, heavy 6 to 10, tempo 12 to 20. For you, we're going to go with what muscles to work. We're going to go, I guess I'll split it. Okay. We're going to do Neem for $2. Thank you very much for the super chat. Says, what is this new YouTube XP system? I've never seen it. It's interesting to me. I'm not complaining. I think it's kind of neat, but you're going to do 1 set of traps and 2 sets of rear delts. So to work your trap muscles, your options are really just shrugs. You can do a variation of this. The most common and probably best option for you is basic dumbbell shrugs. You have dumbbells, you shrug them. Not a whole lot goes into that. You can pause it. You can try incline shrugs by laying face forward on a bench. You can try barbell shrugs. You can try behind the back barbell shrugs. Vary it around. Not a huge deal for you. Rear delts. Rear delts, you're going to want there are a handful of exercises you can do for this. My favorite is probably the reverse pec deck. If your gym has a pec deck machine, which is that machine where it goes like this, right? You start it here, and instead of using your chest to bring it in, you use your rear delts to bring it out. Another one you can do for rear delts is you can do face pulls. You take a cable machine with 2 ropes, and you bring it to your face. right? Doing this works your rear delts. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay. So there you go. 1 set for traps, 2 sets for rear delts. Pretty basic, okay? We're gonna have you do 3 sets of pecs. I would recommend for this, probably barbell bench press or some variant, barbell incline press, barbell decline press for your heavy days, and then dumbbell incline press, dumbbell bench press, or dumbbell decline press for your tempo days. You can vary it too. You can also use machines. This is really up to you. The reason I'm giving you 3 sets for pecs is that as an auxiliary muscle, your triceps will get worked on your pec exercises. So that's, there we go. And then here we go. 3 sets of the other parts of your delts, your front and your side delts. So very simple, or top side delts. Your front delts, that's going to be a shoulder press. Side delts is going to be, you can do this with a cable or with dumbbells, side raises for the most part, right? That's going to work this top part of your shoulder muscle. That's your deltoid, okay? And the reason I'm making you do these, even though these aren't necessarily reducing the spots you're looking at, is because you want to look well balanced, and it's going to make you feel better. It's going to give you, what you don't want to do is get in the habit of focusing on one muscle too much to the point where it's pulling on another muscle a weird way, because all of our muscles are interconnected. For instance, your lower back is connected to your abs. If you have weak abs, you're probably going to have back problems, just as an example. Anyway, so 3 sets pecs, 3 sets delts. So that's 9 sets total. Then we're going to do three sets of biceps. Usually your bicep exercise is going to be some version of a bicep curl. You can do this with a preacher bar. You can do this with a barbell. You can do this with dumbbells. You can do this incline. You can do this standing. You can do single dumbbell curls. You can do, they're bicep exercises. You can do chin-ups. Chin-ups are fantastic. You may want to start with an assisted one, but they're great too. Any bicep exercise will do pretty well here. So, see, that's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12. Perfect. Then we're going to have 6 sets each for your triceps and your lats. Why so much more? Well, because you said you wanted to lose fat in those areas. You cannot spot reduce fat. However, you can build more muscle in those areas to make it look like you've spot reduced fat. So, what are your tricep exercises? With tricep exercises, what I'm going to recommend is you split it into 2 sets of 3. The first is going to be some form of pushing exercise. A great example of this is the close grip bench press. With a close grip bench press, it's the same thing as a regular bench, except for, you guessed it, your hands are closer in. Sorry, there's a helicopter going by, presumably to Fort Shafter or Tripler Ridge, or Tripler Medical Center. With a close grip bench press, you simply keep your elbows tucked in and you push a little bit closer. This is a really good option for pushing, but focusing the push on your triceps. The other ones I'm going to recommend are dips. That's another really great pushing exercise. Again, use an assist if you need to. You should aim to the point where you can do dips on your own. Same with pull-ups. Yes, ladies, you should be able to do at least 1 pull-up on your own. That's, I want to say that's a U.S. military standard right there, that women should at least be able to do 1 pull-up. Anyway, and that's a good functional life skill, because if you're finding yourself hanging from something, you need to be able to get up to save your own life in case you don't have someone else available to help you. So that one's a good life skill as well. So triceps, at least 3 of them should be some sort of pushing exercise. So think close grip bench press. You can think, dumbbell close grip bench press. You can think tricep focused machines like push downs. You can think tricep dips. And then the other 3 for your triceps are going to be extensions. You can do overhead cable extensions, where you've got the cable rope and you extend it like this. You can do the katana curl, which is you've got 2 extensions and you go like that. That one takes some getting used to, but the idea is you don't want to move your shoulders, you just want to move your elbows to really isolate the triceps muscle. Skull crushers are an absolutely fantastic option. The skull crusher, you lay down like you would with a bench press, but instead of pushing the weight, you just bend your elbows. And you bring the weight to your skull. Obviously, don't rack yourself in the head with it, but you get the idea. JM press is sort of a fusion of close grip bench and skull crushers. I'm not going to recommend it to you until you've got a little bit more experience under your belt, but in a year or so, once you've gotten really comfortable with these more basic exercises, it's a great one to try. A couple other tricep extension variations I'm a fan of. The cable single extension, you take one arm, you hold onto the bar with the cable, and then you extend like this, right? You can see how the tricep is working here. I'm a big fan of this one because it does allow you to twist from a pronated or a supinated grip to a pronated grip out here. I find that really hits my triceps well. Okay, so there's your 6 triceps exercises. That's a lot to unpack, but you said you wanted to work that more, so I'm giving you that more. The other one is going to be your lats. Your latissimus dorsi, or your lat muscles, are the bad boys that make up the big part of your back. How do you work those? The best and single greatest exercise for your upper body in this regard has got to be the pull-up. And I mean proper overhand grip. You can do a wide grip. Wouldn't recommend to narrow as much if you really want to hit lats, but just proper pull-ups. You can also you can do a variant to this, the lat pull-down machine, or assisted pull-ups. I would recommend for the lats, in the same way that for triceps you had 3 push and 3 extension, for the lats you're going to have 3 vertical and 3 horizontal. So what does that mean? Well, vertical is going to be pull-ups and pull-downs, variations of that. You can do a single arm cable pull-down. That one's pretty good, where you're kneeling at the bottom set of the cable. Oh my God, my legs are so sore from today. Say there's a cable extension up here and you pull down like that. Obviously, if you do it with single arms, you must do it to both of them. I don't think that needed to be said, but just in case anybody is really, really lacking in the brain department in the chat today. Okay, appreciate that. Thank you very much, Nina. Other vertical ones. Oh, one other good one for delts that I forgot to mention is the upright row. That one's not bad as well. That's just for your front delts. That'll work, front and top side delts. You can throw that one in as well. Can you roll the traps up? So some fitness influencers say that not everyone can, apparently genetically. I will when I'm done with this. Horizontal lats. As you might have guessed, if a vertical lat is going to be a vertical pull exercise, a horizontal lat exercise is going to be some form of a row. Okay, so what kind of exercises are we talking about here? Horizontal lat exercises sort of really begin and end with the big daddy, as pull-ups are to a vertical pull, bent over rows are to a horizontal pull. You simply bend over and row the weight. Now, you can do tons of variants of this. You can do a barbell bent over row. You can do dumbbell bent over rows. You can do landmine rows where you've got a bar in between your legs and you pull it up like that. Those, again, I recommend the further you bend over, the more horizontal it'll be, so definitely bend over more. But that one, go watch videos of Ronnie Coleman doing that with just a gajillion plates. There's a reason his back looked fucking insane. The Meadows row is an excellent exercise. It takes a little bit more time to get used to having a fat grip like that. So maybe save the Meadows row for a little bit more advanced work. The chest supported row is another great one. The seal row is incredible, but good luck finding that equipment. And then there are any variant of rowing machines. Another one you could do is a rowing machine for cardio, like the ones where you're just kind of, you're going back and forth. That's great, but that's cardio. That's not going to make your lats gain muscle. You need resistance training for that. So that would be about it for your upper body. So I'm going to go ahead and demarcate this so you can see it one more time. Got it? So your upper, and of course, 3 sets of abs, as I said. You're gonna do 3 sets of delts, 3 sets of biceps, 2 sets of rear delts, 1 set of traps, 3 sets of pecs, 6 sets of lats, 3 vert, 3 horizontal, 6 sets of tries, 3 push, 3 extension. All right, now we'll move on to the lower body, okay? Lower body is largely going to fill the same format. You're gonna have, and then, you know, one day will be upper for tempo, one will be upper for heavy. You're gonna do the same tempo heavy thing for your lower, okay? Nina Fayer said, can you roll the traps up? All right, I'll give that a try. You talking like this? If you're not, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. But anyway, lower muscles. So you are going to be hitting the fucking squat rack, all right? The squat rack is more, okay, than just a piece of exercise equipment. It is a piece of exercise equipment, but it is also a great piece of cardio equipment, or it can be. It is also an amazing therapist. Believe me, there's something about the sensation of almost getting crushed that allows you to get in this weird mental headspace where your problems take on a different perspective. It's terrific. It is also a way to work out your anger. It is also a way to push yourself and test your resolve. It is, in some ways, it really is. It's like a magical youth creation machine. It's a absolute godsend if you want a good ass. I mean, not gonna be immodest. I feel like I'm doing pretty well in that department. It makes your legs look incredible. And if you push yourself hard enough, you do squats properly, it's almost like it can be. I'd say a squat rack can almost be a dominatrix sometimes. It's that good. You can truly torture yourself on a squat rack if you want to. Believe me, I have done it. 20 rep squat sets. If you've ever seen the book Super Squats, you know what I'm talking about. Squat rack can absolutely get to that level of torture, and it's exquisite. Don't think you definitely can is affected by genetics. I know some people can't push their shoulder blades up to get the traps out. Interesting. So, what does this mean? Well, it means your ass is doing squats, period, end of discussion. And I mean real squats, not some bullshit with dumbbells or a Smith machine. Dumbbells and Smith machines are fine if there really is no other option, but a barbell squat rack is just the best. It's not easy, and squat depth, your ass needs to be getting parallel. In other words, crease your hips at the top of your kneecaps. I can demonstrate that if need be. You know, I will. I fucked up my calf earlier, and I did squats today, so this one's gonna be painful. But you can do high bar, you can do low bar. That's really a personal choice. I'm a huge fan of low bar, but that's because I'm 6'3". Generally, what I found is if you're below 6 feet tall, high bar is usually better for you. If you're above 6 feet tall, usually low bar is better for you. But it also depends on how long your femur length is, how long your torso length is, and a lot of other stuff. I recommend just trying them both and figuring out which one. So, squat depth. Crease of the hips at the top of the kneecaps, or parallel. In other words, crease of the hips, top of the kneecaps. That's parallel. This is 90 degrees because your legs are making roughly a 90-degree angle. This, I have to adjust the camera. This is A to G, or ass to grass squats. To me, I'm not a huge fan of going this low. You can. It often leads to back rounding. A lot of people end up doing this, which you see now. Do not round your back. We'll talk about how to avoid that. It can also lead to more knee problems. I'm just not a fan of ass to grass. If you are, more power to you. But if you're one of these form Nazis that says ass to grass is the only proper way to squat, fuck off. I'm a fan of parallel squats. Well, you said you wanted, if you're looking to reduce fat around your hips, you're gonna have to hit that. Anyway, so same thing, 3 sets of abs. Now, squats, you're gonna do 4 sets. Heavy days, 6 to 8 reps. Tempo days, 12 to 15 reps. That's gonna be a good amount. Now, here's how you can tell if you're actually doing squats the right way. The last set or the last rep or two of every set you do, you should be breathing like a steam locomotive. Down. That's how you know. If you are forcing oxygen in your system, if you do that, it also has the side benefit of expanding your rib cage, which increases the size of your chest. Yes, that's a good thing for both men and women. Definitely, for the ladies, I think the reasons one might want a larger chest are obvious. For the men, it makes that inverted triangle look a lot better. Try leaning your head back when you flex traps. I'll try it again after this. This is more important. This is a consultation I'm doing for someone. By the way, if you guys ever want to ask me anything, askbullmuscle@gmail.com. You can get your own custom consultation tailored to you, just like this person is. So, 4 sets of squats. No exceptions. Okay? You will hit the squat rack. Do not be one of those fuckers who doesn't. All right. Then you're going to do a squat variant. So a squat variant can be a front squat. You can do ass to grass squats. You can try goblet squats. You can try a leg press. You can try, Smith machine sissy squats. You can try partials. You can try paused squats. But some sort of squat variation where it's still a deep knee bend. That's the predominant range of motion, but it doesn't have to be a barbell squat. So some sort of squat variant. Again, I would think again, leg press, goblet squats. You get the idea. Front squats. All right. Four sets of lunges or split squats. This can be barbell lunges, dumbbell lunges, barbell split squats, dumbbell split squats, Smith machine split squats, Bulgarian split squats. Have fun with those. I actually had to cancel those out of my workout today because I had a knot in my calf that still hurts like a bugger. I'm not walking correctly like that. But some sort of exercise where your legs are split. The idea here being that this is going to help you achieve left-right balance as well, which is important, and also front-back balance. So that's lunges and splits. We're going to do we're going to do deadlifts or hip thrusts. So what do I mean by this? Okay, you're going to do some form of exercise that revolves around what is called the hip hinge. So if you've ever seen someone deadlift, okay, the deadlift, you have weight down here, you bring it up and you hinge your hips. You thrust your hips at the top. There's no way of doing that without it looking dirty, but bear with me. It's the same thing with the hip thrust exercise. Y'all seen women do this in the gym. There's no reason men shouldn't do it either. I do as well. Where you're laying here, you've got weight on your hips, you bring it up, you bring it down. You bring it up, you bring it down. The reason you do this is because this is going to increase strength of your glutes, strength of your hips. One other thing I wanted to touch on. With these, especially deadlifts and especially squats, every single rep you are going to do, you are going to keep your abs tight. Notice, I don't know if y'all saw when I was doing those hip thrusts, my abs were locked in. When I'm squatting, right down here, my abs are locked in. Why? Because, as I said earlier, all your muscles are interconnected. If your abs are braced down here in the hole, what this is going to mean is your spine is going to stay neutral. It's going to stay flat. If you relax your abs, you're going to bend your back, and this is a one-way ticket to back pain. You don't want that, okay? So you're going to do some version of deadlifts or hip thrusts. Hip thrusts work, deadlifts work. You can do Romanian deadlifts, you can do sumo deadlifts, you can do one of my personal all-time favorites, Jefferson deadlifts. I adore the Jefferson deadlift. I can explain that one if y'all need it. Nina Fairs with, thanks in advance for the traps conversation. I appreciate that, with $2.46. I don't know what IDR is. Well, thank you very much for whatever currency that is. Is that... Can someone figure out what that currency is? I'm very interested now. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Go ahead and give that a heart and a like. We'll give Neems a like too. So that's, you got squats, some version of squat variation, 4 sets of lunges as splits, 4 sets of deadlifts or hip thrusts, and then leg extensions and leg curls. So, Indonesia. Okay, cool. Bali's beautiful. So leg extensions and leg curls, just do 2 sets of each, or you can do 4 one day, 4 the other. Doesn't really matter too much. Or you can use some other kind of machine. Usually most gyms have a leg curl and a leg extension. The other one is going to be a mix. You can either do 4 sets of abductors and adductors, or you can do 2 sets and then 2 sets of back extension, or you can do 2 of any of these 3 exercises. So leg extensions, leg curls, back extensions, which includes things like good mornings, or abductors, adductors. That's the good girl, bad girl machine. This one. There's no way for a man to do that without it looking sus, but it's still a great exercise. You can do those with cables. You can do that with machines. That one's pretty simple to explain. So that's pretty much it. There you go. Let you get a picture of that. You can do, again, there's, for the last 2, as long as you do 8 sets out of these exercises here within the dashed line, so leg extensions, leg curls, back extensions, adductors, and abductors, just rotate. Figure out what works for you. If you decide you don't need the leg extensions, the leg curls, stick to abductors, adductors, and back extension. With squats and deadlifts and lunges, you're gonna have plenty on your hamstrings and quads. So if leg curls and leg extensions don't feel like they're doing much for you, omit them. Or if you feel like the back extension doesn't do much for you, omit it. Really up to you on that one. So there you go. That is just about it. So let's go ahead and get back with chat. But that's a pretty comprehensive plan. I'm pretty excited to see where you go. The other thing I would recommend, for those of you who don't know about it, come join my Discord channel. We've got a small little community there where we encourage others. We post macros, we post sleep numbers. Oh, there's the other thing. Try and get at least 7.5 hours of sleep, ideally, a night. If you can't do that, for the love of God, at least make time for 6. It makes a huge difference. You wouldn't even believe. Just in terms of willpower alone, I can directly correlate, and I track my sleep too. This thing's awesome for that. Recommend a Garmin. Don't go with the Apple ones. The Apple ones aren't as good. I would say, what was I going with? Oh, with the Discord, I really recommend being in it, because a community, what you can do is you can make your goal public in there and you can follow through. One of my most successful clients did just this, and it's why he's lost, since January, he's lost almost 50 pounds. Pretty fucking good. Honestly, I would have told you unsustainably fast. I think he's starting to taper off a bit now, but the point is he's done incredibly well. And it's because every day we'll post macro totals and he sticks to it. And when he fucks up, he says, yep, I fucked up yesterday. And I do the same thing. He's encouraged me to start doing that as well. So really recommend. The nice thing with the Discord is, again, it's having a community of like-minded people. I've also got a treasure trove of links to show you all sorts of great stuff about dieting, about exercise. I've put a lot of heart and soul into that community, because I found that my most reliable friends have come from it. So it's a big part of my life, and if you like hanging out with me, want a VC and stuff like that, there's the place. I get that Discord isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it's the best chat. It's the best way I've found out to just kind of casually hang with friends. So that's all I've got for y'all today. I have another consultation on the docket for another supranational contestant, actually, so that'll be fun. I don't know if I should say who it is. I think I'll refrain, but I'm going to try and get that done Saturday. I am literally moving this weekend. I'm moving into my new place on Sunday, so I'll do the best I can. I cannot promise anything right now. I was going to do it today, but I don't have the time. We're doing this. Can't wait to get started. Well, I appreciate that very much, Christina. I'm very impressed by your resolve, your motivation, and I don't think there's anything standing in your way but the decisions you make. So that's all I've got for this one. Oh, Nina, try leaning your head back when you flex traps, though. Moves the traps up. Okay. So your head back. Yeah, I guess, sorta. I know, no lip seal. Don't worry about it. Like I can be a lot more public about information if you want it to be public. It's just I want to respect your privacy. Again, a lot of people don't like having their weight out there. I'm a huge fan of it because it requires, it's like, yeah, this is what it is, personal responsibility and all that. But I think you've got a lot of really, really great potential, and I'm excited to see where you go. I hope you stick with this community because I think it'll be a huge tailwind for your back. This is me leaning forward if you want the traps that way. This does make my traps look fucking enormous, like speed bumps. Am I on TikTok? No, absolutely fucking not. TikTok is Chinese social engineering, so no. I'm already only regretfully on Instagram because it's necessary for modeling. You're never going to see me on TikTok. Absolutely not. Do you have an Adam's apple? Right there. Oh. There, that's me swallowing. Very clearly have an Adam's apple. No. No, this is... Stay away from TikTok. It's just brain rot. Definitely go. I recommend checking out my Discord channel. There's a lot more intelligent conversation going on in there than it is on TikTok. I refuse to use it. However, one thing I demand is payment, quote unquote, for my consultations is that because, as you've noticed, I don't run ads on this channel. If you see ads on this channel, please let me know because I deliberately went and disabled all the ones I thought I could. As a result, the algorithm does not pump my content at all, so I rely on word of mouth. So the quote-unquote payment for these consultation videos I require is one social media post about what I do and whether or not you found it was useful. TikTok is a great place to post my content because I will never ever do it there myself. So if you feel like doing that, more power to you. It is greatly appreciated. That is going to be it. People are in there saying low testosterone has led to less Adam's apples. So there is a correlation between, I think, consumption of microplastics and issues with the endocrine system, but it's still, nothing's really proven yet as to why testosterone levels have dropped and how much they have, if they have. I'm not a medical expert, so that's one where I'm not really going to lean in on too much. But yeah, no ads. Exactly. If you're wondering why my content doesn't have ads, there you go. I refuse to be... It just feels wrong because I talk about, lowering consumption and eating right and hitting the gym. And then if I were to bombard y'all with McDonald's ads, it would just feel wrong, Not to mention, again, this should be this is a small welcome oasis in the desert of ads that is YouTube nowadays. YouTube is cramming ads left and right, and it's disgusting. So I don't need the money. I do this for the love of the game. So if you really like this and you do appreciate it, though, maybe consider advertising on my behalf. That's all I got for y'all today, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back probably Saturday with another stream. It'll be another consultation pretty similar to this one. But until then, y'all, make good decisions. Those good decisions form your actions. Those actions form your habits. Those habits form your values. And those values form an ethos that can be the guides through the rough waters of life. If you would like your own video, you can ask about diet, you can ask about fitness, you can ask about economics, personal finance, philosophy, dating, you name it. AskBullMuscle@gmail.com. Link is right up there. That is all I got for y'all today, ladies and gentlemen. Come in for the hug. Shoots. You have a good night.